Hello everybody, Dokkan Assets here. Today we are back with another figure news video, and today we are going to be covering the last 2 weeks of Dragon Ball figure news. I am actually recording this video a little bit early because I am going to be busy on the night that I would normally record this. So if anything gets added, it will just be kind of shoved in at the end of the video. If anything gets added, I'll just record it real quick when I get home. But we're recording a little bit early today. I know, kind of ahead of schedule. Could be me? Never, bro. Let's go ahead and get into everything that we have for this week. We have a ton of exciting stuff to cover for you. Starting off where we left off last week at the weekly Dragon Ball news. There actually wasn't anything figure related this time, unfortunately. So that was a little bit unfortunate, but nothing crazy on our usual stop at dbcfigures.com until we get to V-Jump, which is our Japanese figure release schedule for the month. This does not include pop figures or SDBH cards. I really want to get the Vegeta statue, but it's a bit pricey. So we have a GX Materia Goku, which is going to be December 2021. We have the FES Kid Super Saiyan Goku, which we actually get to see some final pictures of. Also coming out in December. Goku also coming out in December. And then we have the Ritsuda and Vegeta and Trunks again also coming out in December. And then of course we have the Premium Master Line Super Saiyan Vegeta Deluxe version. That big, disgusting statue that we've taken a look at. I don't mean disgusting in terms of the sculpt. The sculpt is okay. I mean disgusting in terms of the price. And then obviously we did have the launch of the Dragon Ball Heroes Ichiban Kuji, which again I'm hoping I can maybe cop some of the figures from. We'll see about that. Just a little heads up, I guess not a heads up anymore, but pre-orders ended on the 7th for the SH Figuarts Dodoria. So hopefully you're able to get your pre-order in and snag that bad boy. Otherwise, you're obviously going to be kind of, you know, doing a little bit of rinky-dink, trying to get it on eBay. This is obviously I'm not gonna spoil that too much for you, because that's obviously the Dragon Ball Ichiban Kuji, and we're literally going to talk about that immediately, basically, when we hop over to Baggy's Twitter. So we'll look at that when we get over to his Twitter account. But it is super exciting. Obviously, I gave you guys a little tease at the end of last week's figure news video about everything going on with the Dragon Ball Ichiban Kuji. We had the Dragon Ball news for the 8th. Mainly featuring the Ichiban Kuji figures that were released this week. We reported on this last week, which you can read here. And then they invited project leader An Orena, I apologize if I completely butchered that, for a few words on his release to sum it up. They made the figures from all the popular characters of the series in this release. And other news, Super Dragon Ball Heroes Big Bang Mission Right 11 came out. So nothing, again, too crazy in terms of figures besides that. And we will actually get to see some final pictures of these individuals here. I will maybe do a little bit of digging to see if I can find another Twitter account that I know posts different Dragon Ball figures if they get them, because I know Baggy didn't post too much of it, unfortunately. So obviously, Goku is now released in Japan, which is very cool. Look at all these crazy angles. We'll get to see some more final pictures of him close up, but obviously last week we did get to see a bunch of those as well, and he looks absolutely fantastic. Obviously we did also have the images for these guys drop, and again we will see some more final pictures of them with Baggy. This was also pretty interesting. If you're looking to get anything from Premium Bandai for this upcoming Black Friday / Cyber Monday, Premium Bandai is offering free shipping as part of their Black Friday / Cyber Monday deal. This can save you about $10 if you haven't already purchased Arbon yet. And that's a good idea if you are obviously interested in him. Get the coupon before the 30th at a weird 3 a.m. basically EST time, or purchase $100 or more between the 26th and the 30th. Very interesting. So obviously you can check out the official Premium Bandai website for that. Very interesting Black Friday promotion. I can't say I've ever heard of such a thing as a free shipping coupon for Black Friday, but if that's what you're in the market for, then absolutely go for it. Premium Bandai is obviously a thing where they don't have a lot of things like stocked all of the time. It's just like pre-order stuff, but obviously, you know, there's still some goodies that you can find on there for sure. That Kirby looks absolutely hilarious, speaking of which. Moving on, that is basically it in terms of figures for Dragon Ball Z figure news, so definitely go check them out. Obviously, link in the description if you want to check a look at anything else on the site, or of course anything that we went over this video. Now let's go head over to Baggy's Twitter, because I really want to show you guys the rest of these Dragon Ball Ichiban Kuji figures. So obviously we left off last time where Baggy was sort of talking about power pole, but not important. We did get a little bit of a tease of some of the upcoming figures here for the Dragon Ball Arise line, which is something that we've obviously talked about before. It is those super expensive bigger figures from the company Plex. As you can see here, we have basically $500 for a Grand Elder Guru. That is quite expensive, if I do say so myself. There's also going to be a Nail and Mori that is going to be around $250, and a Shen, and I don't know if that's supposed to be Tien or if that's a character that I just don't recognize the name of. But it's going to be interesting to see how these guys end up faring. Obviously, Plex has been sort of notorious for releasing these overpriced statues recently, so we'll see how Guru ends up faring. Alright, so we did get the high-quality Dragon Stars Vegeta Scouter production images. Nothing too crazy there, but I will say this is a pretty decent-looking Dragon Stars figure for the quality of Dragon Stars. I gotta say, this is probably one of the better-looking ones that I've seen for sure. Now, getting excited, this is the next figure in the Dragon Ball Ichiban Kuji set, a King Piccolo. I cannot believe that this is what they decided to go with, and I am so happy about it. Obviously, Kid Goku had to be in there. It doesn't surprise me that he was, but I was really hoping for some more unique Kuji figures with obviously a Dragon Ball set, because of course it's the opportunity for characters that we basically never get. And as you can see, they have delivered with this amazing King Piccolo. Absolutely love the look of this. I will 100% be picking this up. Ichiban Kuji has been crushing it with these series that we do not have a lot of figures of, so obviously super cool to be able to get him. I can't even remember the time, like any time that I've been a figure collector within the last, oh my gosh, what has it been, like 4 years now? I think 2017 was about when I started. Don't even remember a King Piccolo figure ever releasing. I don't even know about like WCF or anything like that. So super cool that we obviously are getting him. Was released. So this guy was originally scheduled to release the week of the November 2nd in Japan. Would have been so fitting if it didn't get pushed back to 11th, yeah, obviously in honor of the Kuji. These were, okay, so this is Demon Slayer. This is also very interesting. March Kuji Ichiban Show. JJK movie isn't getting an Ichiban show, but Kuji proper in the US. However, they admitted they expected to be a popular item. DB's lack of popularity compared to the big ones may be a blessing. We may still get an Ichiban show, because obviously the point of Baggy saying this is, of course, we can just buy the figures outright rather than trying to either import them or, you know, trying to get them by the lottery. Okay, so they are continuing on with more Dragon Ball releases here. Oh yeah, I actually saw this in person. This was pretty whack. I saw this picture on Twitter. This is the Dragon Stars Gotenks, and as you can see, the color of his chest and his stomach is not the same color as the rest of his skin, which is very odd. And yes, I literally looked in my own store for this figure and it looked like this, which was incredibly odd. But anyway, finally, we are on the next figure here, and we have a Mercenary Tao, which is very, very interesting. Definitely a solid choice for a Dragon Ball Kuji. Again, Tao is a figure that I really can't remember ever getting released. Maybe there was like a re-release of a really old figure, or maybe I'm just thinking of seeing a really old Tao figure from like an old Budokai Tenkaichi. But obviously Tao is a great choice for a Dragon Ball based Ichiban Kuji set. And then the really cool but really unfortunate thing about this is that, as you can see, we have Cyborg Tao, complete with the knife and the cannon, as well as, of course, the chrome dome that my man is now rocking. But the only unfortunate thing with this figure is that this is actually the LO, the last one figure, and not just interchangeable parts. Very similar to Nappa from the Saiyan Saga Kuji, where obviously the Nappa with hair was the last one prize figure. I don't know how I feel about this one. Just because, like, I feel like they could have easily made this interchangeable parts, just like the legendary Master Roshi figure that we have, that obviously had the Master Shen head, and then had the Roshi with glasses, and then of course just the like regular Roshi head. So it's kind of weird to me that they couldn't just make this one a, you know, like interchangeable parts. They could have even made the figure cost a little bit more for that. Like, I wouldn't have minded that. So let's hope and pray that this is one of the extremely rare times where they actually bring the last one version overseas. It probably isn't going to happen, because I can't even remember the last time when that's happened for Dragon Ball. Oddly enough, Ichiban shows, I've seen it like more common in like My Hero for them to bring over the LO figure. Like, I know I bought personally the LO Deku from, I don't even remember what Kuji it was, but just a different color basically, rather than the normal color for the LO on that one. But obviously this is almost like a whole different character. Like, I don't want to say it's a whole different character, because obviously it's still Tao, but like, I don't know, it's like, it's kind of a different character, you know what I mean? I don't know. Either way though, super exciting. I would definitely love to get my hands on both of these bad boys. Cyborg Tao would be what I would prefer personally, just because, I don't know, I like regular Mercenary Tao, but I like Cyborg Tao just because he's cool. So we'll see if I can't get my hands on that, but very, very exciting. And I will say, either way, even though it's not a, like, interchangeable part, right? I will say, if they were just going to do a part swap for an LO rather than a whole different character, which technically is only better for us collectors if it doesn't get imported in the West, this is definitely a good choice for like an alternate, you know, thing, like with Nappa. And actually very, very cool that we found out was that the boy Varkwo, still don't know how to pronounce it, thank you for the follow as well, still my boy. The absolute GOAT himself is the one who sculpted the original figure for the Mercenary Tao. So no wonder that the figure looks so good, because he was the one who sculpted it. So obviously very, very cool. You always love to see the boy Varkwo getting some work. So very, very excited to pick up that figure, because obviously anything he makes is amazing. So we did actually get to see this, because Baggy was talking about here some of the Dragon Archive stuff. Basically, Baggy also got to pick up the Clear Eyes Goku poster, just because he liked the styling of the logo, which I agree, the styling is very, very cool. But yeah, the figure wasn't as good, unfortunately, but the quality of the poster is really, really good for sure. Oh yeah, this was also very interesting. It seems that the 2D Gogeta sales have completely dropped in the US. Obviously, this was the one with all the shenanigans of the sculptor. Alright, so this was also interesting. Don't forget, we also have Treasure Rally releasing overseas starting this month for Asia. The OGDB Hype Train is going to continue nicely until that big month in March. Even if we get an Ichiban show from Merch Kuji, we won't get the yellow version, so at least it's nice we'll get a mini version of the figure. Yeah, I suppose so. It's something, right? Next year would be great if we could get some of the old OGDB S Cultures re-released next year, especially since we aren't getting many new prize figures. Also, side note, S Cultures was so good back in the day. Look at the variety. Yeah, very, very great variety of figures for sure. I still can't believe that Super Saiyan 3 Broly is an official figure. Every time I look at that thing, I'm like baffled. But Yeah, look at like that Arale is sick. Obviously that Pan is sick. That's a figure I wanted to get for a long time, as well as that Yamcha too. The Master Roshi is really good. These are really good. These are all figures that I've like wanted to get for a long time. All these guys here. Hopefully I can get in my collection someday. All right, this isn't any news, but this was a pretty cool repaint that I saw that Baggy retweeted. Obviously, based off of the manga panel where Goku is in like this red, white, and black sort of meme. Very, very cool repaint. Okay, so this is quite interesting if I do say so myself. So the DA reveals, aka the Dragon Archives reveals, is a mid-transformation Ozaru Goku, which is a very, very interesting pick for a figure, but I really, really like the choice. Obviously, this is a very, very unique Goku figure because by this point we've gotten a couple of grade 8 figures. I'm still not satisfied personally. I could definitely always go for more, but nonetheless, obviously this is a super unique Goku figure, and of course I think for more of like a minifigure sort of thing, I think this works perfectly for that. And then of course we also have her, which I don't remember her name, but I do remember her from Dragon Ball. Again, it's been a little while, but also another good choice for a Dragon Ball minifigure for sure. Also, since these are F prize confirms, there are 2 figures left, which either be Chi-Chi or Krillin, based off of the BSS release. Alright. The only reason I can think no Ichiban show for Saiyan arc in Europe is because the Ichiban Kuji proper in Spain, Italy, and France, which means the rest of European countries usually get Ichiban show are being screwed over for no reason. Yeah. Neither of the 3 countries had a back to the film Kuji proper, and what do you know, all of Europe suddenly gets an Ichiban show for that. Frustrating that I don't care about anything from it. Understandable. Okay, so that was something old. Oh yeah, this was me. Actually, funny enough, my pre-orders unfortunately got canceled for Gohan and Goku here. I think I actually did order these guys on another site, thankfully, so hopefully I still will be able to pick them up, but I know that a couple of other people actually did end up getting their orders canceled. So if you did order these off of Amazon, definitely keep an eye out. The one thing that I did note was that apparently Nappa is the one that's still in the clear. And I have actually seen other reports of that on Twitter too, that people are saying that Nappa was the only one who was fine. So very interesting. A DBS Salt Candy Asian promotional with some overseas art. That's cool. Salt Candy. I don't think I've ever heard of Salt Candy before. Interesting. That's a cool render of Goten. I like that. Alright, so in order of relation, Takawatsu must have sculpted the King Piccolo, which is also another fantastic sculptor. So definitely excited about that for sure. Very, very cool. More angles of Tao. Amazing work by Varroque. Yeah, very, very good stuff here. Really, really like it. I love the way that I don't even know what you would call that. I guess just his outfit, right? Like sort of flows in the wind like that. So good. November Kuji stores live. Less stores than last year. Only figure, yeah, there's a reused. Yeah, very unfortunate. The Saiyan arc Ichiban show being canceled by Amazon US. Been putting it down on this week for sure. Mine has been canceled. Yep, but will likely next week since that's what's estimated for. Yeah, hopefully that there's a way to get it. Hey, very good stuff. I'll have to ask him if I can maybe cop that myself. All right, so keeping on here. Here are the other 2 Dragon Archives figures. We have. I laugh every time I see this one. I also commented on the Dokkan Assets account. The Sulo and Frozen Goku. They did a very, very good job giving Goku a paint job that made him look like he was frozen solid for sure. And obviously Suno is a character that we literally never get to see in any Dragon Ball merch. It is very unfortunate that Dragon Archives never makes it over here to the States, so this might actually be the first Dragon Archives that I pick up, because I would love to get this figure and the Great Ape. And then the other one is this guy, which I also don't remember his name, but I do remember him from Dragon Ball. He also has an R card in Dokkan, but another good choice for like a Dragon Ball mini figure. Obviously picking like one of the side characters, right, I think works really well. But yeah, very, very excited for the Suno figure. I know a lot of Dragon Ball fans are probably going to be, just because obviously Suno is a pretty memorable character, even though she's only in a couple of episodes. And obviously just the scene in this figure in general is just really funny. But yeah, very exciting stuff. Definitely a massive dub, I agree, with Baggy, that it's definitely some very good choices in terms of characters there. Okay. So let's see. So this was something else interesting. Yeah, we'll get to that. Don't worry. Since Clear Eyes, Vegito, and Gogeta Blue have been moved to January, that likely means them being the 7th anniversary for is unlikely. This is for Dokkan, by the way, as it doesn't really make sense for them to release same character and same force just a month before the anniversary figures. Yeah, I definitely think that is the case. I kind of think that there's still a small possibility, simply because of the fact that I know that there has been times in the past where we've gotten a figure virtually in the same pose, no less, 1 month right after another. So it's not impossible, but I definitely think that Baggy is right, because those Dokkan figures tend to be a lot more popular, right? Even if it's a character that obviously we've had a couple of times in figure form, because of course, you know, since it's Dokkan, all the Dokkan heads will buy it. Like me. But either way, I definitely agree with Baggy that most likely these guys will probably not be for the 7th anniversary. This is also super exciting news. Prizes D and E are Mai and Shu, and the GOAT himself, Pilaf. This is a very, very interesting choice, and I think it's great that not only was Goku just the only hero, but literally the rest of these are villains, which is sick. Such a good choice for Kuji, obviously all of Goku's biggest adversaries throughout the series. And this Pilaf looks great. It's going to be interesting to see how these guys compare for prices, because obviously Mai is going to be pretty big with Shu included, but obviously this guy might be kind of small. And this also looks like just like a piece that'll stand in front of him. So, yeah, I'm hoping as well. I think it's probably going to be that, you know, these two are included in the same box, which I would really hope so, but I know like we had where they were in different boxes, granted, but the US didn't actually get Chaozu for the Kuji, which I don't know. Knowing Bandai, they could pull some stupid shenanigans where we don't end up getting the Shu figure in there. But I mean, I'm thinking that he'll be included because it's actually in the same box rather than last time. So, you know, where Chaozu and Tien were separated. But either way, fantastic choices for this Ichiban Kuji all around. Definitely very, very excited to get my hands on all of these. Obviously, more unique Dragon Ball figures are always appreciated. And not only that, obviously, Dragon Ball figures are something that we literally never get. So, very, very cool stuff there. This was also very interesting, too, that this is just about the first time that they've sort of been wrong in terms of, like, or not they've been wrong, but I guess, like, our sort of premonition of the re-releases ending up being figures later on down the line has been wrong, which is interesting. But we are definitely hoping that Krillin and Chi-Chi end up getting made in China, so then that way they don't look, obviously, you know, pretty stinky. I've actually been collecting this line as well. I started with the Goku recently, so yeah, definitely very excited for this, though. What a week it was. I hope the rest of the gang is being saved for the Summer EX Kuji, and we can get another OG DB1. Probably asking a lot for much, you know. Yeah. It's also the first EX 800 Kuji that didn't recycle parts. Yeah. Literally the first time that they have ever, like, not used anything that was from a pre-existing figure already, which is awesome. And this should be the quality that Bandai strives to have. And this should be the type of stuff that we're getting all of the time, right? Easily, this should be what Bandai strives. This is peak Ichiban Kuji, if I do say so myself. This is amazing stuff all around. Literally could not be happier, you know, with the variety in selection here. It's so good, and I really hope that people go in on supporting this one, because with a Kuji like this, right, not only is it worth just getting every single figure, but this is something that you want to, you know, show Bandai that this is this type of stuff that you'd like to support, rather than the reused stuff and obviously the same characters over and over. More unique stuff, and obviously showing them we still care about Dragon Ball as well. So very good stuff there. Speaking of reuse, that also overdone forms, Versus 18 scheduled to release mid-March in Japan. In anticipation for next year, one can try and find the old S-Culture's OGDB Krillin and Yamcha special versions released overseas a few years ago. Both were sculpted by now sadly passed away Moroshi Sage, I believe is how you pronounce that name. Rest in peace. I've actually never seen this Krillin figure before, funny enough, but I have seen this Yamcha, and I've always wanted to pick that up. So hopefully I can find them. Looking back now, the first 800 yen Kuji was pitiful. 3 of the 2 figures were recycled. 800 yen Kuji should have been like this from the start. Yeah, this was the first one, the History of Rivals, which I would still actually like to get that Broly and that Yamcha, actually, just because that Yamcha also had an LO version with Poir. But yeah, definitely very, very good stuff for this Kuji. This is absolutely how the more expensive Ichiban Kuji should be, for sure. 110%, excuse me. Oh yeah, back in 2019, History of Rivals Kuji was shown off at Jump Festa IRL, then scheduled to appear May 2020 after the, you know, delay to May. So since this year's is back in person, could be a chance that we get it shown off IRL. Yes, I'm sure that some of you may remember me even covering this on the figure news, because I remember literally looking at this image. Funny enough, there's the Poir and Yamcha that I was talking about, the dangerous duo there, and I'd still love to get that, because I want the Yamcha, but obviously I would love a Poir figure. Either way, you probably remember me taking a look at this. So obviously, if the same thing does happen at Jump Festa this year again, we could actually get IRL pictures of these guys sooner than later, which would be fantastic. Love, love, love it. Would absolutely be down for that. Oh yeah, I guess it's time to hunt for the Ox King, for sure. From an old blog post, picture from Game Stations, this was almost 10 years ago, a decade while. Yeah, very, very crazy. Okay, yeah, definitely a lot of Dragon Ball posting, so understandable, too. So options for OG DB Chi-Chi figures, not including the ridiculous DB Gal stuff, amen to that. There are the next month's Q Socket and the March BBS release, or try and hunt down the old S-Cultures, 3 of her on the Kinto Un, or the extremely hard to find grown-up Chi-Chi from the old 2008 DX line. That would be cool to be able to try and get those. But obviously, again, like Baggy said, they're pretty hard to find. Yeah, this would be definitely a decent figure, but I might actually pick this one up just to have with Goku, because this is obviously they're re-releasing the Dragon Ball Collection line, and I guess I've dedicated myself to picking it up now, so I'll probably end up getting that. Very cool comparison, by the way. Obviously, I'm sure that you've seen this Treasure Valley Goku a couple of times, but this is actually the original arc that it was based off of, so very cool. It'd be awesome if they made a Krillin and Bulma in that style too. That would be sick if they did end up doing that. Also, this is a very weird piece of news, but apparently the Broly movie, Draw Cap, are being re-released overseas next year for some reason. For anyone that's new, definitely avoid this. Yeah, this was very, very sad. I remember a lot of people were really excited for these minifigures, I remember talking about these actually on a figure news from when these came out. I don't know how they ended up being this bad. It's still a mystery to me how official Dragon Ball merchandise can look this awful. Very stinky. Definitely don't waste your money. What to look forward to this week? Muji Hype, May Kuji, I like that. To continue with the GX Material Goku releasing on Japan, or in Japan on the 11th. Potential full April BSP price figures released, although most likely the week after. I'm going to take another drink of water here. Excuse me. Going along with more OG Dragon Ball stuff. To reiterate, this is how amazing the old Draw Cap was. The details are amazing. Extremely jealous of anyone that has the OG Kuji ones. These are literally the same figures as those awful Gogeta and, you know, Kamehameha, like, you know, Broly and, or I'm sorry, Goku and Vegeta were, which is crazy to think, because these are definitely a lot better quality for sure. Okay, so this was also pretty cool. We did get to see a little bit more of these guys in person. November Kuji finals, obviously for SDBH. This is a good place to obviously see a little bit of size comparison here. Obviously not too much close-up images. I believe we'll have a couple more later, and again, I might try and seek those out for you guys just because I'm obviously curious. But of course, when it comes to height comparisons here, this is a very good, you know, sort of height chart. Obviously, Cronoa is so tiny. Keep in mind, Broly scales more with all the other King Cluster Brolys, and if you have the original SDBH Vegito, that's basically the same size, and if you have the Greatest Saiyan Goku, also basically the same size as that figure. I will say, obviously we've talked about these guys being a little bit recycled before, but obviously being a huge fan of SDBH, I'm still very excited for these because obviously they look good since they're just recycled off of good figures. And I still think that if anything, I'm just glad that they look good, because I remember I was disappointed by a lot of Heroes figures in the past, so it's good to see that these guys actually look pretty cool. It would be sick to be able to pick up Limit Breaker Broly, but I don't know if that's actually ever going to happen because they'll be super expensive to get, considering obviously all these figures are really overpriced on eBay right now anyway. They've revealed the lineup of smaller prizes for the OG DB Kuji samples soon, hopefully. From the previous EX Kuji, they replaced the dumb black and white coasters with bottles, so that's great. Unfortunately, same visual boards, so expect the Toriyama, right, like remakes of the art basically. So bottles, visual boards, and art towels. Interesting. I don't know why they keep doing towels. They've been doing towels for a fat minute now. Very, very interesting. So yeah, these are what the thing that got replaced basically with the last one. And then we also have some more pictures of Pilaf Shuumai based off the lines of the Pilaf work. It's Takamatsu's work, since he usually does the big one. He usually does the big one small character for the EX Kuji, so he usually does the smaller characters. Yeah, very, very cool. Yeah, this person actually pointed out too, they did Goku and the villains. All of, like, not obviously not all of Dragon Ball's villains, you know, because again, like, you know, Red Ribbon Army definitely is included in that, but they're all villains of Goku, right? Definitely a very good looking figure. Okay, so yeah, so Nappa's starting to release in the US. Sadly, it looks like it's going to be staggered releases like the Mei Kuji. Last time for the Mei Kuji, it was Broly that released first, so it seems like the big box figures are releasing first. This was also a very interesting piece of news to pop up on the timeline. Nakazawa, the GOAT, love that man, A1 since day one, again reiterated his love of casual clothes and diorama-based figures in his recent interview. Yet they keep choosing to give him these. Yeah, I don't know why. Like, these are the type of figures that he's made in the past, and the type of figures that he loves. This is actually my personal favorite figure that I own at the moment. I love that Goku to death, and he sculpted it. But they're giving him all, like, basic Gokus, which is so weird that, like, he even explicitly says, right? You know, within Dragon Ball, is there a particular panel or favorite scene that you love to create in 3D? Choosing one is tough. I love scenes that involve more than one character, sort of like a diorama as opposed to a lone item. Really like creating scenes that can connect with people. So in the past, we made the scene where Goku is holding Gohan, going over to see Kami-sen. Also, even more than the mid-story stuff, I'm a big fan of standalone illustrations of characters riding mechas or dinosaurs. Made the Model Tenkaichi Budokai series in that style, but nowadays, unfortunately, it's a bit hard to make those sort of items financially viable. After that, I like casual clothing, but that's purely up until now. Been exclusively making characters wearing their uniforms, yeah. Hopefully, we can see more casual clothes Goku, because I feel like these figures are so unique, and I'd still love to be able to get these two someday in my collection as well. Oh yeah, so April Solid Edgeworks will be revealed soon, most likely going to be Gohan. I genuinely don't want to see it. Yeah, I hope that it's like maybe the best Solid Edgeworks one. I'm just praying. Yeah, it's apparently also only releasing in Taiwan for other countries in terms of the, you know, actual Ichiban Kuji. We'll know the next 3 weeks if there'll be an Ichiban show or not for the OG March Kuji. For now, we wait. Oh yeah, and then here we go for launch figures. So for launch, here's the options. You have Nakazawa's S-Cultures winning launch to regular and overseas version. You have the S-Cultures for launch, but also bigger scale and easier to find G&G version. And you also have the Cupa Socket launch releasing later this year. For my money, I would definitely be picking up this figure, but obviously it's a little expensive, I'm sure, considering it's kind of old at this point. All the overseas special S cultures came with a window box packaging, which was cool back when the releases. Actually great. Yeah, now they ditched the window box packaging, unfortunately. Nah. That's so funny. Alright. March Kuji lot ratios and heights. Unfortunately, Pilaf and crew aren't at 2. Those extra ratios went into the Dragon archives. So, in terms of like the assortment that every store will get that's holding this Ichiban Kuji, it'll be 2 A figures, which is Goku, 2 B figures, which is Piccolo, 2 C figures, which is Tao, and then 1 D and 1 E, which is Pilaf and Mayan Shu, respectively. And then F is 12, which is obviously Dragon Archives. And then as you can see here, the heights of the different figures. Obviously, Demon King Piccolo being the tallest makes the most sense, because he is literally giant. And then obviously Tao being the next biggest also makes sense, but of course he's sort of squatting down, so also kind of makes sense that he wouldn't be as tall, right? Even though King Piccolo is easily taller than him. Gohan was 1 per lot last time, and his market value was around basically $100. If we don't get an Ichiban show this time, we're screwed. Yeah, definitely screwed if we don't get one. That'll be hard to import for sure. Good news is the Dragon Dragon Archives should all be 3 lot per then, although we won't know the exact ratios until release. So King Piccolo is 2 centimeters shorter than Cooler. However, because of Cooler's horns, I reckon they're going to be pretty similar IRL. Yeah, very interesting. I'm sure you guys remember me taking a look at pictures of Cooler in the last couple of videos, so it's interesting that he'll be almost as tall as him. I don't know if that's actually canon or not. Like, I wonder how tall those two are next to each other in the canon of Dragon Ball. This is basically just Baggy's predictions for how expensive these figures are going to be if we don't get an Ichiban show. Oh yeah, that would be really cool if anybody pulled up with pictures of these. Alright, moving on up here. Let's see. Anything else crazy? Oh yeah, so this was a pretty interesting post. This is differences between the FES 12 Goku and the FES 9 Kid Goku. Smaller base is a win. Yeah, so if you guys remember, obviously this figure got a recolor recently, obviously with FES. The second figure in the set is always a different colored version from the original version of it. Obviously coming out with the FES Goku here. And here is a nice little comparison. We'll let these load as we just look at the pictures from Baggy himself. As you can see, both these guys are about the same height. There is definitely a smaller base for sure on the orange Gi Goku, absolutely, which is great. You always love a smaller base on a figure. And they basically look the same in terms of the sculpt. Nothing too crazy, at least that the naked eye is like, you know, sort of picking up here. I am a fan of actually both of these. I would absolutely love to get either one of these guys, because I actually don't have either one of them in my collection. Just because I have a couple of outfits of Goku in blue, I think I might almost get the more yellow one, just because, you know, obviously it's not orange like we've seen a bunch of different times. However, obviously, you know, the blue is based off of the anime ending, and then the orange is, of course, based off of this piece from the manga. And what else is really interesting about this, too, is that obviously they kind of like had the foresight to think about making this figure super tall to coincide with, you know, the fact that like he is flying in the air in both of the original things that he's from, which I just think is very interesting. But yeah, both these figures look really good. Obviously very accurate to the original source material. Of course, super goofy looking, but sorry, I stuttered there a little bit. I'm taken aback by the goofiness of my boy here. But again, it's a good thing, right? Because, of course, the original illustration and, you know, the original animation cell of Goku here is, you know, intentionally very goofy. So obviously it looks very, very good, if I do say so myself. Oh, and you can take the power pole out of his hand. Interesting. But yeah, overall, very good stuff, for sure. And here he is next to actually the Bulma, that is literally from that particular scene. This is an older figure that I know it's a little bit more rare, but obviously Omocha Headshilla has like every Dragon Ball figure under the sun, so it doesn't surprise me that he has this. But yeah, these two look great together, obviously as a setup that is a reference to that original piece of art. Alright, so keeping on. I know the March will be... Oh, Ichiban show for March will be very soon. I'm very, very nervous. Yeah, I'm sure hoping so, bro. Apparently France are only getting March JoJo Kuji as Ichiban Kuji proper, which means Europe should be getting Ichiban show for the March OG DB Kuji. Yeah, France along with Spain and Italy got the Sayonara Kuji proper. As a result, none of Europe got the Ichiban show. France and the other two didn't get the behind the film Kuji as proper, and all of Europe suddenly got the Ichiban show. So France not having March Kuji as proper all but confirms the Ichiban show. Let's hope so. Makes sense why bother re-releasing these in March in the West if there isn't going to be an Ichiban show. So I think the US is also likely going to get an Ichiban show too. DB hasn't had an Ichiban Kuji proper in the US yet, and I doubt they'll start with an EX Kuji. Yeah, for sure. Definitely hoping that Baggy is right about that one for sure. Okay. So pre-order listings for all the April prize figures should start dropping Friday. We should usually get Ichiban show listings a bit after prize figure listings drop, so I guess we'll get Ichiban show listings a week after next. Expect staggering prices like the December Kuji. Pilaf should be the cheapest, followed by Goku, Tao, and King Piccolo, and then Mai since she comes with Shu. Here are some high quality pictures of Cronoa. Obviously, she looks really, really good. And again, I will try and find some other pictures for you of the rest of them. I'm just going to include it at the end here. Okay. Forgot to mention that the Dragon Archives will be between 4 and 7 centimeters, but thankfully it's obvious Torgot which heights are going to be what. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, these should definitely be pretty easy to import since they're so small for sure. Okay, we have some more IRL pictures of the GX Materia Goku. Obviously, this guy dropped in Japan this week. And he looks really good. We've seen a couple of finals of this guy already, but it's also cool to see a very small stand as well, because obviously it's not, like taking up too much space on the shelf. Not only do we have the boy Goku releasing, but we also have the FES manga color version of the Goku, which is really, really cool. Of course, this is a figure that people have been excited for ever since the anime color version came out. And not only that, with him releasing, we also have the GT Kid Goku, the Super Saiyan version. And I was honestly hoping that this figure turned out good. It's not a figure that I'm like super gung-ho about buying, but it'd definitely be something that I'd be down to get in my collection, because it does look pretty cool, and I was hoping that it would turn out alright. And from this picture right here, it actually looks pretty good, all things considered. I know that sometimes the FES figures get a little bit butchered nowadays, so it's good to see that a form that we don't get too often, which that being GT Goku, actually got a decent figure, so good stuff there for sure. This was also pretty interesting. The December Kuji metal trays is not Toriyama's actual original art, which is very, very interesting. It's actually redrawn. I assume this has something to do with like copyright. I'm not exactly sure. I wouldn't be the person to ask for sure. Here's the poster for the GX Materia Goku. Looks great. Also very nice seeing that OG Dragon Ball logo on there instead of the stinky Z logo that's on everything. No modeling changes to the December Kuji figures as far as I can tell. Just have to see how the finals turn out. Semi-interested in these, but yeah, obviously saving the money for the OG Dragon Ball Kuji. Definitely glad though that they didn't change how it looked at the end. Yeah, I mean, I agree that at some angles it can look a little bit weird with like, his mouth open like that. But overall, I definitely don't think it's too bad. Obviously, some of these have some quality control issues, like, the paint chipped on the tooth there. Obviously, like, this angle is probably the most least flattering for the guy. But, like, this one don't look too bad. Obviously, there's a little bit of goofy paint on his teeth. But this angle also doesn't look too bad. I do agree, Oh, and yeah, the QC on them is definitely very bad. Obviously, you literally saw different issues on the same, you know, like 4 different versions of the same figure all throughout, right? But I think that, like, besides the QC issues obviously being relevant, which is Bandai being Bandai, unfortunately, the mouth still looks pretty good, if I do say so myself. It could have been a lot worse. It could have been a lot worse, for sure. Go on Ichiban show is now ready too. We've had the biggest box and now the smallest box releasing. Very strange. Yeah, for sure. Alright, so here is the packaging for the Dragon Ball Heroes Kuji. Good news to anybody who wants D and F, obviously those being probably the most popular figures in this. And yeah, absolutely, I 100% agree that for the rest of this stuff, it is going to be awful to import it. If you want Broly especially, it is going to be a nightmare to import it. I got so lucky when I imported the Kuji from last year for Dragon Ball Heroes. I got Trunks and the Super Saiyan 4 Broly from that set. And I literally got an absolute steal with that. So I'm just going to have to, like, hunt eBay like a madman to be able to try and find what I'm looking for out of this. But obviously this is going to be terribly expensive to get over here, except for Rose and Cronoa, though, which is good because obviously those are the 2 that people are probably the most excited for. Again, here's some more pictures of the boy. Very, very good looking, if I do say so myself. The Great Ape head, also we haven't seen too many pictures of it, is nicely sculpted as well. Good to see that they put some care into that as well. I'm trying to find my water bottle here. Sorry, I can't find it. There we go. But yeah, obviously, looking very, very nice, if I do say so myself. It's nice to see that not only are all the teeth, like, very individually well sculpted, even the fur, and all of the detail on his skin and his ears and all that stuff looks very well sculpted in there, too. So, very nice. This was the one GX material that I love the figure, but it was the the least, rather, GX material just because, obviously, the effect piece was just kind of there, but I think they did a pretty good job with it overall. Okay. Italy are only getting March Shoujo Ichiban Kuji proper 2 DB listed for proper Ichiban Kuji, which means Europe all but confirmed will be getting the Ichiban show. Huge poggers for sure. One last post about this Kuji. Masked Rose. Oh, unboxing below. Interesting. So if you want to check this out, I will see if I can't leave a link to this in the description below. I'm not going to obviously go through the whole thing because I don't want to get claimed, or I don't want to take the person's, like, you know, actual video, but obviously this is them actually playing the Ichiban Kuji and then taking a look at the Rose figure. I mean, it looks about what I expected, honestly. I mean, nothing too insane in terms of the sculpting, but definitely looks just about, yeah, I mean, that looks good to me. Literally just looks like the advertisement, so that's good for sure. I'll leave a link to that in the description, though, if you do want to check it out for sure. Alright, last but not least for OG figure recommendations, Bulma. Now she has a lot of figures, but for first appearance Bulma, I'd recommend last year's G&G. I actually might pick that one up low-key. Or smaller scale S Cultures 7. Also, you have 2 versions of the Nakazawa Bulma from the S Cultures 4. Obviously, 2 different color versions. If I'm going to get that yellow FES Goku outfit, then I probably want to get this one just because, obviously, it matches with the color scheme, and this one matches with the blue gi. I think I prefer the purple hair on Bulma TBH. The shame, the special overseas version Nakazawa's S Culture is hard to find. Saw a couple listings. One was like, yeah, definitely going to be very hard to find her for sure. Probably going to have to pay a pretty penny for that. Okay. I think we are nearing the end, actually. These are pretty cute. Asian DBS pins. Obviously, these are all in a chibi form. These are pretty neat. This would be cool. Ooh, I like that Super Saiyan God Goku one. Yeah, these are cute. I like these a lot, actually. Yeah, actually, God of Goku might be my favorite out of these, low-key. And then maybe Beerus and Whis. Yeah, those are really neat, actually. Oh, interesting. They come in like a blind box type deal. Hello, Rose. Sorry, bud. Didn't mean to intervade. I didn't mean to invade your personal space there, buddy. Okay, and then we have some Goku Black Arc stuff. That's cool. Yeah, I definitely... Ooh, and Vegito as well. Goten and... They actually get merged? That's insane. Rose looks so goofy. I always love seeing Goku Black in Chibi form because I always think he looks so funny because of the expressions they give him when he's this like really cute character. Yeah, I definitely like the other set a little bit better, but overall, very interesting piece of merch. Definitely like that for sure. I'd definitely like to get that God Goku. Alright. Reminder that half of next month's Kuji is reused. Yeah, it is very unfortunate to see, obviously. We've talked about this time and time again, but yeah, a lot of this stuff in here is reused. Thankfully, all the figures that I'm interested in from this Kuji, none of it is reused, so that's good. Okay, other than that, I don't think we have too much else in terms of figure news. Yes, we're literally right here at the end. All saying our Ichiban show is ready for the US. Some sites already beginning to have them all in stock. Yeah, definitely keep an eye out if you're trying to pick up this set. Obviously, with all of the delays and stuff like that, you definitely got to be keeping a close eye on the market for those. Okay. More GX material Goku final pictures. I won't go through these too heavy, but obviously, again, we've seen it time and time again. My man looks good. That is a picture I wanted to show you, though, next to the Master Roshi, which is really cool. Oh, yeah, this is also pretty good. The DBH Kuji barely a day, and the market values have dropped dramatically. Cronoa is less than 4K already, which is great. Told you guys a little, by the way, that's like 40 bucks. Told you a little interest in DBH merch, which is why the merch has stopped for everything else except this Kuji. Definitely will probably stop after next year. Definitely would not be surprised, because obviously this is a lot more of a niche thing. But, yes, definitely a good thing for us, because obviously that just means that these figures will be cheaper. Alright. So that is going to be the end of the video, unless obviously by the time I record by the time I get home tomorrow, rather, I'm sorry, there's more news, then I'll cover it right here. Yes, I actually had a couple of more tweets that I wanted to sneak on in there that we got right after this video ended. So we did have a tweet from the boy Varroque with all of his current creations from the GX material line, which is super cool. Obviously, if you're unaware, he is the one who sculpts this entire line, so it's awesome to see all of his work on display here, and really cool that he has a copy of each of these figures, because obviously, you know, if I made something and it got mass produced like this, I would love to be able to have a copy of it. So very cool for him to have all of his figures out here on display. Obviously joining us with the new Kid Goku. Baggy, we talked about this tweet a little bit, how they're probably not going to do another DBH Kuji next year, and it would make sense considering when DBH got a Gashapon, they actually ended it after only 5 volumes, which is pretty small considering most Dragon Ball Gashapon toys. We have the December Ultimate Shinron, a little bit of a note on it. Since the Kuji is being distributed via Family Mart, same as the movie Kuji, which was half the stores in Tokyo as the Mei Purunga 7-Eleven Kuji, Purunga's market value is 300 bucks, so on paper Ultimate Shinron should be ridiculous, but it all depends on fan interest. I'm expecting the December Kuji to be similar to the Back to the Film one, so that means half the Mei stores. However, I'm not expecting Ultimate Shinron to be that sought after compared to Purunga, so I don't think its value will be that high, but we'll see. Yeah, definitely, I would agree with Baggy on this one. Obviously, I think that even though people do like GT a lot more now, and obviously fans of Super Saiyan 4s, I think that people aren't as like gung-ho about, I was going to say Omega Shinron. That's the one people like, Ultimate Shinron. So only time will tell on that one for sure. This was also very interesting for an interview. The Zenkai Solid interview seems to heavily imply that the FES line may be finished at volume 16. Kind of makes sense with Nakazawa doing other Goku line, and we haven't had another FES scheduled, and we have schedules up until April 2022. So it looks like this line may be ending with these two final figures right here, which would actually be a pretty good send-off, I suppose, to have this figure be in there. And I guess we would have to take a look at the little chart, because I know that Baggy did make one at one point of all the different FES Gokus covering all the different forms of the character. If we have every character covered off the top of my head, I believe that we do by this point. So obviously I think it would be okay for it to end the line now. Veteran in the figure industry with over 20 years of experience designing wonderful models, including those in many Dragon Ball product lines like Chozoshu and Model Tenkeichi Budokai. Hideruki Nakazawa is a man known for his craft, following his most recent project, Goku Fest. He's now leading the charge on the Super Zenkai Solid series as the lead model designer. Super Zenkai Solid is a line of figures that you can win as prizes in game centers throughout Japan. Like its predecessor, the Goku Fest series or Goku Festival series. I always call it FES just because, I don't know, it just flows off the tongue. Super Zenkai Solid is a series of large figures that focuses on Goku and creating his strong presence in 3D form. Their mission is to take Goku that we all know and love and bring him to life cooler with more detail than ever using the latest in modern technology. So yeah, definitely would make sense, obviously, again, since Baggy says that, of course, since we have all these schedules up until April 2022 for figure releases, and FES is on literally none of them, it would definitely make sense if they were planning on ending the line here, which is a little bit sad, because this was one of the first figure lines that really got me into figure collecting, but at the same time, I completely understand, because obviously, you know, you got to move on at some point. This is also pretty cool. Starting this month, after 11 years, people overseas can finally own the Wedding WCF figures, which is crazy to think that it took this long to get overseas, but thank God. And our last tweet for the day, more DBS baggage coming from Cacturmania, I think is how you pronounce that. These are pretty cool backpacks, obviously, if you're looking for a school backpack or something like that. That would have been a sick lunchbox to have as a kid. Yeah, definitely very weird that they didn't use an international promo artist for Vegeta for the first one to match the Goku. Not sure about that one, but hey, on all honesty, I like these, honestly. Definitely the lunchbox one is my favorite. And that is all for new tweets. But otherwise, this will be the end of the video, unless I can find more hero stuff, which I'll put here. Okay, so real quickly, I wanted to share, funny enough, my usual suspects of people who get figures. Did not actually have them this time, unfortunately. Funny enough, the one that my man Cal Rin, who is somebody that I usually look to for new figures, got is actually Rose, which we sort of took a look at earlier. But again, in these couple of pictures that we have here, he definitely looks really, really good. And I am very curious how this actually balances, because it does not look like that he has the actual stand on there. But yeah, that looks super sick, if I do say so myself. And even though this isn't Heroes, the other figure that I did actually want to show was that he did actually show off the black and white version of the Gogeta that we have been making such a fuss about in these last couple of figure news videos. And I mean, obviously, again, unfortunately, this figure is, you know, reused with a bunch of different pieces, but the figure itself does look good despite all of the shenanigans behind it. And this was also a nice little touch, putting the little Kamehameha and thing in there, so that might be nice for a display. Anyway, just wanted to include those in there. But otherwise, thank you guys so much for watching. If you like those pauses, thanks. Funny, did laugh. I need to go to bed. It's 6 a.m., bro. Thank you all so much for watching this video. Really appreciate it. Of course, let me know what your favorite figure was from this set. Let me know who you're most excited for from the upcoming Dragon Ball Kuji. And I will see you guys in the next one. Dokkan Assets out. Peace.